Hi, my name is Cassidy Patterson, and this is my IO Consulting Individual Development Plan. So let's get started. So first, before I go too far into detail, I first just want to go over what a competency actually is. So a competency is also described as individuals' knowledge, skills, abilities, and other types of characteristics, or it can also be a combination of these KSOs as well. For this particular individual development plan, I am focusing on my top 4 competencies for IO psychologists, and which I think are the most important for that type of work. So for the first competency, I chose change management of organizational systems, and this was found in the Hedge and Borman readings. This type of competency basically focuses on managing change within an organization, whether that be on an organizational group or individual level. Change happens quite often in the workplace, and as it said in the readings, even from the 1980s until today, we as IO psychologists have learned to focus on different parts of the organization, whether that be on a larger picture or now being able to focus more narrowly on different topics. It's important to be able to be flexible and be able to move with those types of changes if you're going to be an IO psychologist. Secondly, I chose executive and individual coaching. This was also found in the Hedge and Borman readings. And the reason I chose this is because I think it's extremely important that not only are you able to problem solve and be able to give these solutions to these clients and to these employees and executives, but it's also important that they look at you as not only just like a vendor or a salesperson, but as a coach and a trusted advisor. And it would definitely help them want to obtain more knowledge from you, and it would be more likely that they would listen to you with what you are, what you're saying to them and what changes you're wanting them to implement. The third competency that I chose is verbal communication, and this was chosen with the SIOP. The industry that I chose is industry, and that's because I'm mostly interested, I guess, in pursuing a career within a private organization, working for just that organization. So I think communication, especially verbal, is extremely important within an organization. These people are, as a psychologist, you are responsible for being able to communicate with all different types of people. You are going to be giving presentations. You are going to be speaking with individuals on their performance and speaking with groups about new work changes. So being able to adequately express your ideas and thoughts is extremely important. And finally, interpersonal skills. This is also found in the SIOP, and especially for industry, I think interpersonal skills is extremely important. As an IO psychologist or consultant, you are working as that liaison, so you need to make sure you're able to build rapport and relationships with your, clients per se. So different management teams and different departments and different individuals on an employee level. So these are my top 4, and now I'm going to go farther into how I assess myself on these top 4 competencies. So the first competency that I am going to assess myself on is the change management of organizational systems. So in my previous job, I had a hard time convincing people to change behaviors that they've been doing for a long time. I was a training specialist at a restaurant, and we have a lot of new servers or new employees come on to our team, but a lot of them have had prior experience. It was very hard for me to get them to understand the importance of being able to do things in the new way that I was teaching them. And I guess additionally, to add to that, after I tried to implement these changes into these individuals, although, some of them didn't want to change at all, some of them did change, but I saw them reverting back to their old habits or their old ways. I've also spoken to my manager about developing my ability to look at things from a larger scale, from a bigger picture standpoint. I have a tendency to have tunnel vision. I get really focused on one thing, but it's important to be able to look not only on smaller things, but also the big picture in order to fully understand the change of an organization. So based on that evidence, I would definitely consider this an area of development for me. The second competency I'm going to go over is executive and individual coaching. So my personal assessment for this competency, I currently coach and educate my clients I work with on an executive level role on different types of job titles within our particular job market. It's very hard for these clients to find talented individuals to fill their roles, so I coach them on how to go about looking at these target job titles in order to find more qualified candidates. I also coach my current employees and candidates on different types of interviewing skills and job etiquette. So I have an extremely high fill rate. I think right now it's at a 95% with my interviews to placements, just because I'm having this type of coaching and workshop with these individuals as they come through. My coworkers have also commented on how I'm able to educate these individuals without coming across as rude or condescending, and that I'm able to do it in a respectful manner. So based on that, I would consider this competency a strength of mine. The third competency, of course, as I've already gone over, is verbal communication. So based on my personal evidence, my personal assessment of this, I have passed each public speaking class in undergrad with an A. I've also exceeded my expectations in my current role for my verbal role plays that I've had with our corporate trainers during my new hire orientation. They commented saying that I did exceptionally well, especially with my confidence while I was speaking. And that my manager has also stated previously that I always think before I speak, that I also speak with confidence, like the trainer said as well, that I'm clear and that I'm articulate, and that I always think of others before I speak, which I think is a very important part of communication as well. So based on that, I would consider this a strength as well. The last competency that I'm going to assess myself on is interpersonal skills. So currently I am responsible for maintaining these relationships and building rapport with these different clients that I work with. These clients say that I'm very pleasant to work with, and I've gotten great feedback from them to my manager, and it really has taken our relationship from a vendor-client level to a trusted advisor level. My current manager also says that I'm very gifted and I'm able to communicate with different types of clients, whether that be a CEO or an accountant or a maintenance technician. I'm able to converse with each of these different types of people. And additionally, my peers have commented on that as well, saying I'm able to meet these different type of people and I'm able to read them based on our first interaction, which is extremely important to be able to know how to continue to build that relationship, is to understand what type of person they are and how they like to be communicated with. So I definitely would also consider this a strength of mine based on this evidence. So to continue developing my areas of strength, I've come up with 2 SMART goals that I am going to implement into my work life in the upcoming future. So the first one is that I will conduct 2 interviewing workshops for candidates by the end of 2018. This is going to help with the executive and individual coaching. I think that this will help continue to build my confidence on being able to coach others in a respectful manner, and I guess going along with that, being able to fully develop that coaching skill and not coming across to others as being rude or harsh, and that others are able to take my advice and my consulting knowledge, willfully, and they won't resent what I'm saying. Additionally, I want to volunteer to be the primary speaker at any job fair, any sort of client meeting or activity that our branch is involved in throughout the next 6 months. I think that this will just continue to aid in my verbal communication, just getting out there and continuing to work on my public speaking. Practice makes perfect, so I will continue to do this for the next 6 months. Finally, I also made 2 SMART goals for my areas of development. Right now, my company is working on bringing out a new structure called the unit structure, and our branch has had a hard time coping with that change. So my first goal is I will develop a unit structure schedule for my branch to coincide with corporate focus by the first of this new year. So of course it's going to help develop my change management skills. And I also want to meet with my active clients to influence them to be able to change pay rates for contingent workers based on the changing job market by the end of Q1 of 2019. Again, helping with that change management and aiding in my confidence and being able to not only help myself be more flexible with change, but also clients as well.